My wife left me when I was caring for my dying father, but when he made me a millionaire in his will, she came back crawling. For 2 years, I took Dad to dialysis twice a week, Saturdays and Wednesdays, every single week without fail. My wife Avril absolutely hated it. She'd schedule elaborate dinner parties every Saturday I was gone, then scream at me for being late. Wednesday nights, she'd conveniently remember she had plans with friends right when I got back exhausted, leaving me with 2 hungry kids and a pile of work to finish. Dad had kidney failure, and I was his only son. When I was 24, he wanted me to take over his merchandising business, but I was passionate about coding. I chose a tech career instead. Dad was furious, said I was throwing away the family legacy. At my wedding 8 years ago, he publicly announced I'd get nothing from his will. Avril's smile froze on her face. After that, she never let me forget it. Every argument somehow circled back to how I'd failed our family by choosing my career over his money. But I didn't care. I made 6 figures by 27, bought my own house at 29. I told Dad straight up I didn't need his wealth and could build my own. Our relationship was icy for years. Then Mom died of a heart attack 5 years ago. Dad completely fell apart. He'd always had Mom as his companion after I moved out at 17. Losing her destroyed him. That's when everything changed between us. I started visiting twice a week just to check on him. Brought the kids over to play checkers with Grandpa. Those 30-minute drives to dialysis became the best part of my week. We talk about my childhood, his early business days, stupid jokes Mom used to make. But Avril saw me as a complete failure. A man who chose a dying old man over his own family. She started saying it in front of the kids. Daddy cares more about Grandpa than us. My 8-year-old asked me once if it was true. The worst part was her sabotage tactics. One Saturday, she invited her entire family over for brunch without telling me. I came home 2 hours late to find her mother glaring at me like I'd committed a crime. Another time, she scheduled our daughter's dance recital for Wednesday evening, then acted shocked when I said I couldn't make it. "You're choosing him again," she'd say coldly. "He cut you out. He doesn't even want you there." I tried explaining that Dad needed me, that he was alone and scared, that this was temporary until we could arrange a nurse. She didn't want to hear it. 6 months ago, Dad's condition worsened. He started getting weaker during sessions. I'd watch him struggle to walk from the car to the center, trying to act tough. One Wednesday, he grabbed my arm and said, "I'm sorry I was so hard on you. You turned out better than I ever could have made you." I told him to stop being dramatic, that he'd be around for years annoying me about the business. He just smiled. Avril filed for divorce 4 months ago, said she couldn't live with a man who had no priorities. She moved in with her sister, took the kids, and hired an aggressive lawyer who demanded I pay for everything while she rebuilt her life. Dad died 3 weeks later, peacefully in his sleep. Avril didn't come to the funeral, texted me that she had a migraine. The will reading was yesterday. His lawyer called me into a mahogany office downtown. I figured it was just paperwork to finalize the charity donations Dad had mentioned years ago. The lawyer slid papers across the desk. Dad had left me his entire merchandising company, every asset, every property. The lawyer said it was worth $4.2 million after liquidation. Dad had updated the will 6 months ago. There was also a letter. It said, "You chose your own path and became successful without me, but you still showed up when I needed you most. That's the son I always wanted. The business is yours. Build something better than I ever did." I sat in my car for an hour crying. This morning my doorbell rang at 7 a.m. Avril stood there in her old sundress, the one she knew I loved, mascara already running. She pushed past me into the house. "I made a terrible mistake," she sobbed. "I was scared and angry, but I never stopped loving you. The kids miss you so much. We're a family. We can fix this." I just stared at her. She kept talking about how she always believed in me, how she knew I'd make it work, how the kids needed their mother and father together. Finally, I cut her off. I looked her dead in the eyes and said the exact words she'd thrown at me 100 times. "There's no point wasting my time on someone who was never going to appreciate me." Her face went pale. "You don't mean that." "I do. Sign the divorce papers. You'll get what the court says you deserve. Nothing more." Then I closed the door and called my lawyer. Dad was right. Sometimes the biggest inheritance isn't money. It's knowing your worth.